I recently gave a seminar at Massey University to undergraduate students, second year, and we were talking about innovation, multi-touch, digital technologies and so forth. And I asked them the question, when you go to an expo and you see LCD screens on the wall, what do you do? Do you take notice of them? Do you stand there and watch the PowerPoint or the video that's being presented to you, hopefully captivating your attention? And the resounding answer I got was they ignore those screens. They're not really interested in standing there for 2 or 3 minutes to watch that video and that PowerPoint that you sweated over putting up all your details. They really have no interest in that at all, which I find probably to be expected and probably pretty typical actually worldwide. Once upon a time, 15 years ago, if you had an LCD screen on your exhibit, you probably were quite unique due to the cost of the units and not a lot of companies being able to afford them. Of course, if you were one of the big corporates, you would have had them there on your exhibit. But for the average company, it would have been impossible. And today, the same thinking is still there, that we've got to have a video playing. Somehow that's going to create some magic for you. And I would say you're actually wasting your time. And talking to these students confirmed my assumption. What I think you should be doing is using the advantage of multi-touch. And if you use that and prepare your content and then incorporate it into a sales approach and how you're going to interact and have dialogue with visitors to your expo, I believe and I know that you will change the value of the interaction that you have with those visitors to your exhibit. So instead of just standing there hoping that they're going to be there watching your PowerPoint for the next 2 or 3 minutes, why don't you take a proactive approach using your content? And I want to show you how we did that for one particular conference here, and we're just going to talk about the content and so forth and the program that we used and give you an idea of how you can go from static, boring LCD screen trying to play some captivating video to using it as a powerful tool to engage with visitors. So come with me now and we'll have a look at the video and hopefully you will learn something. What we're going to show you today is the Holo-Info-Desk, and it's been set up here for the ITEX conference here in New Zealand, a major leading IT conference for the industry. And so what we've got set up on the desk is as a conference surface with information about exhibitors, speakers, agenda, floor plan and so forth. So just giving you an idea of what it looks like. And so down the bottom you can see here that we've got a combination of text feed and an RSS feed from the ITEX Twitter account, and so that's going to appear just shortly. Down in the far corner here we have a clock that can appear. Now that piece of content can either be selected on or off, really depending on your preferences, but it's available to be there. So what we've set up here now is the main interactive area, and so as you can see here there's just one button, but in actual fact depending on how you might want to set it up, we could have a number of additional buttons there that would give us access to various applications within the program. But for us, we have decided that it'll just be on the media wall, and so typically you would go there, and now it'll come up as this here. And so we've got two interactive buttons here and in each of the corners. So the scenario is here is that we have this canvas, and so you can see it's actually showing it on that side as well, and that's if it was on a table, and that will disappear shortly. And so what we're able to do now is bring up the content. And so in this particular case we can bring up the agenda, the timetable, and you can see the various areas where it's being highlighted. Next, what we can do is bring up another one, and oops, oh, that's gone behind, so let's just kill that and do that again. And so on this one here you will notice 1 to 2. Now that's really what that's meaning is there's 2 pages on this PDF, and so we can go backwards and forwards and so forth, and again stretch it up. Now for example you could also bring up the main conference brochure, which has got 8 pages, and again you could just select through. And so you can see here now that we have 2 documents up, and we can actually, in the back end of the program, actually decide how long this should be displayed and how long or how many we should be able to have up on the desk here. And at the moment we've just, in this little area here, we've only got the 3 documents, and we'll leave it at that. Now, so let's just move those out of the way. And now we're going to have a look at the exhibitor floor plan. So we've got a floor plan here, and it's just the 1 document, it's 1 page, and you can see here now the exhibitors and the floor plan, so you can get an idea of where everybody is. Ideal on a very large conference, maybe over a number of halls, where it becomes pretty difficult to try and figure out where everybody is located. The other thing that we can actually do is bring up websites. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of exhibitors here, and so what we've done is set them into 4 folders, so A, C, D, I, JP and QZ, so it becomes easier to actually access them. And so oops, I've gone to the wrong one. We want to go to the webs, don't we? So we can come here. Now, as long as the computer that's driving the system is hooked up to the internet, the thumbnails will appear at the bottom. And so we can bring up a number of these. And the ideal thing to remember that the website, if you've actually got some, and this one here, and I'm not quite sure whether this website header will change or not, but I know, yes it does. So you can see that. So for websites that have that type of animation, it's really quite nice because it's changing even though we're not interacting with it. Whereas on this one here, it's actually static. So just a little point there to be aware of, that you know, the movement and the motion is an important aspect of it, and obviously it may create some interest for people to interact with it, and it's also a way of getting additional information across to people. Here's Cisco's one, and that'll just load up, and you can see that here. Now, a couple of things just to be aware of, and let's just go to one of these here. What are we doing here? And so you can see up here you've got a lock, so you can now lock it, and then you can do a vertical scroll. You could also draw on it if you so wanted to, but we won't in this particular case, and we can make it disappear. So that's the lock button, and so at the moment, if we tried to, you can obviously fill in our form, just need to be aware of bringing up the keyboard and typing and so forth that people would want to do. So, as you can see, and as I explained, you can put them all under here. Now, one little thing that is interesting to be aware of that you can do, and I've got set up in here a link to the HoloDesk YouTube account, and we can go there, and it's going to load it. It might take a little moment here just to load, and you'll notice now that the video is automatically loading and playing, and so you can hear it. Now, I haven't actually made that play. Okay, a little bit of a buffering issue there. Now, you can actually set that up. You could set that up in YouTube, and so that when someone comes to your website on YouTube, your YouTube account page, it automatically will play a video. And so, again, it's just making the media more easily available to folk. So we're going to cancel that again, and of course, just to show you that we could actually bring up you know, a number of websites again, and they'll load. Now, this one's still loading, and the thing you'll notice too, if you don't have a web account, or sorry, if you don't have a website that's live because of the no internet available, if you've already previously accessed the website over the HoloDesk, these thumbnails automatically get created. Now, so if then we go to a website and we don't have any internet connection, it'll just come up as a white square. Typically it'll mean, hey, there's no internet available where you are. Now we can just cancel down here, and it's coming back to this here. So we're just going to go back here as well, and I just want to show you quickly some of the other areas. So we can go to video, and so we've got some video here. Here's Cordia's one, and you can see you can actually just touch it, switch it on and off the desk. So you don't actually have to drag it, which is a nice little feature. And that's automatically going to play now. Hit pause, we might want to bring another one up. and that will be available as well, and so forth. Right, so let's just keep going. Sponsors. So what we've got here in sponsors is we have a number of PDFs. So these are all been loaded into the system, and again, the nice thumbnails there that allow us to decide what is what. And so you notice now that we've got on the desk, we've got video and we've got PDF. And we could also bring up the floor plan one. We could bring up the agenda.
That is amazing.
And what else have we got here?
Let's
bring up a website.
No, I'll explain what it's using in a minute.
It's not.
And this one here, which is Microsoft's one, and that should load very shortly. There it is. So as you can see, you can mix and match, and all of these can be interacted with and so forth. And depending on the touch technology model that we're using, either one person using 2 fingers, 3 people using 2 fingers could interact at the same time with content. And of course on a 32-inch it's really only large enough for one person to interact with. But if it was a larger service, 50, 60, or even on a 2-metre wall, then multiple people could be interacting with the content at the same time. I think we've pretty much covered basically what it is in terms of a snapshot of what the Holo-Info-Desk is. All the imaging and skinning that you can see can be branded for your particular conference and for your particular brand. Very flexible. We can add a number of areas in here which we won't go into because we haven't set it up for this, where you could actually print out any of the brochures simply by the person requesting, touching on it, hitting the print button, and then that will print out. And of course the idea with that is that now you don't have to make up a whole lot of brochures pre-conference. They can be printed exactly as required on site, or even saved to a thumbnail drive so that people could actually take that away with them. So very flexible, and there's ways that you can easily capture people's names and email addresses, but we haven't set that up specifically for this particular example and for the use at the iTech Technology show here in Auckland in November 2011. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful and useful.